Howdy folks, this is Checkers, and this is No Man's Sky, and I thought we might take a look at it together. We are starting out a new save, a new game, so we will choose Normal, a chill exploration experience, original gameplay style with regular difficulty, standard technology, and building costs. Our choices are Survival, a more challenging survival experience, Survive with limited resources, increased hazards, and stronger, more aggressive enemies, Permadeath, an extreme challenge, all progress wiped upon death, Face the risk of permanent character death with the increased hazards and dangers of survival mode gameplay, or Creative, explore and create freely, indulge your creativity and construction skills with unlimited health and resources, and zero building costs. Achievements will not unlock in creative mode, but Normal is where we will start. And we probably have some time to talk, which is kind of what I wanted. Now, this is sort of our continuing series of looking at survival games. That loaded much faster than I thought it would. Oh yeah, E is not actually the key. I remap things. And here we are. So if you're worried about spoilers, I wouldn't worry too much. If you're interested in the game though, I would definitely watch because the tutorial is obtuse at best. And, well, quite horrific at worst. We don't have control as of yet. That little floating bot there is called a Sentinel, and they are oh so annoying. And almost. And of course there is a third-person view, which is new and not something that I personally enjoy, so we will change that. Okay, so we are in trouble. And we are on a planet that is toxic, and right now it is burning through our protection. We can fix that by getting to sodium. So we look for sodium-rich plants, which are the easiest way at the outs. That's a unique creature. I saw another sodium plant, but then I lost it. Well, you know what? It doesn't really matter. We are going to recharge. Never mind, we'll do it the old-fashioned way. Coming into our inventory and exosuit and hazard protection and sodium. And so we have a little bit of protection. When I said that the tutorial isn't very good, that's one of the things that I meant. Yeah, it says in a little box down there, recharge with sodium using the scanner, but of course the scanner is broken. Now it tells us we need ferrite dust to repair our scanner. So we will look for ferrite dust, and we have our multi-tool, which is a weapon and mining tool and, well, basically all sorts of things. We need to repair our scanner. We'll collect ferrite dust to do that. And there we go. We have 49 out of what we needed, 75, I believe. Yeah. So No Man's Sky. If you're looking for that chill experience they were talking about and you land on a very hostile planet, well, it's not quite as chill. And it's easy to get killed quickly, which can be slightly discouraging. Whoops, sorry. Click on our hazard protection, charge with our sodium. And okay, so now we're not going to at least die immediately. We need more of the ferrite dust. So No Man's Sky has received a now quite famous update, No Man's Sky Next. So to repair this, we basically come into our inventory, over to our multi-tool to scanner. It tells us that we need 75 ferrite dust. We have that, so we just click on the scanner and it'll show it to us much more closely, and you click on the damaged component and that's how you repair it. And our mining beam also requires a charge, and we get that through carbon or condensed carbon, which is plant life. Now that we can scan, well, we don't have our visor, but we can scan and look at the world this way. And let's get some carbon quick. Starship signal detected. Alright. So we're going to grab carbon for our mining beam, and while we're at it, if we can, we'll pick up some... No, we're not going to get our sodium nitrate. Oh well, maybe next time. So I originally planned to do No Man's Sky 2 years ago when it released. Let's grab more sodium on our toxic green planet. But No Man's Sky happened to release, about the time that I was hit with pneumonia. So things got a little chaotic and distracted, and well, I got into the hospital, and I never did get around to it. And I'm glad now to have the chance to be back and take a look at it. The tutorial is not the best. The menu system is obtuse. The key binding is horrendous. I mean, it at least has it to some degree, but it has many baked-in controls. So right now I'm moving using the numeric keypad. But if I want to navigate in any menus, I can only use A and D, and I can't remap those. I can't even remap, say, if I want to open up this menu and recharge my equipment, so I could use this to recharge the mining tool by pressing F, and then F again, and F one more time to select carbon for my mining beam, and now I have a more significant charge, but I can't remap that F key either, so I have to move my hand over from the mouse. If you're right-handed and you use normal default keys, you'll probably be fine, but if you use a more select key set, you may have difficulty. If you're using a controller, I imagine you're fine too. So anyway, we have a starship. The Radiant Pillar. Iteration, I'm not going for that number, but it's online. Atlas connection intermittent. Launch thrusters offline. Pulse engine offline. My exosuit has directed me to a crashed ship. The controls react to my touch, and I can only assume it belongs to me, but I have no memory of it, no sense of a before. Read log. Log 4925A unavailable, substituting data, cause why not? The ship's gonna make it up for us, I guess. Exosuit connected. Suggestion, pilot should perform maintenance. Select desired repair path. Let's repair the ship systems. Self-guided repair protocols initiated. Sort of. Pulse engine. Okay, we need a hermetic seal and metal plating. And so we will bounce. And I'm a-thinking that what we really need to do is come on over here and astonishingly turn the music down even more. Because wow, that was 40%. And this is 10. Anyway, I know I have a soft voice, but it seems kind of loud for 40%. I can't imagine what it would have been at full. We have to repair our ship. We have a ship. So now when we open our inventory, which is tab for me, which is quite possibly the default, it may be something I couldn't have changed. Uh-oh, that means, wait, no. Toxic protection falling. If you get into your starship your toxic protection, which is that green bar on the top on the left there, will rise to full. The bar below that is your life support. That's oxygen. So if we look in our inventory under exosuit, we have our jetpack, which you don't really do anything with. You can use it to basically jump higher, but you don't give it fuel or anything. It just recharges over time. We also have our hazard protection. That's the top bar. And then we have life support, which is the bottom bar and uses oxygen, which you see we don't have at the moment. Hazard protection can recharge with sodium and other things. Life support is oxygen, oxygen capsule, or life support to recharge. In most survival games, you will need like food or water. Think of these as your food and water. You go through your hazard protection more often. I like the sound of the rain on the ship. I had to get out before I just kind of stayed there. Yeah, so we can scan now, which means we can see some things in our environment. Let's see what we need to do to fix our starship. Launch thrusters, we need pure ferrite and dihydrogen jelly. Pulse engine, we need a hermetic seal and metal plating. So we make things by clicking in the inventory, whether it's in our starship inventory or exosuit inventory, and then we can make a certain number of things by default, none of which at the moment are hermetic seals. Okay, so another thing about the controls. You may hear me clicking. I'm trying to get from exosuit to starship, but it doesn't really work. It occasionally works. It does work, but you have to keep trying. So A and B will move. Again, those are things I can't remap, but I have to remove my hand from the mouse. Just an annoying thing if you're left-handed or you like specialized keys. And normally with most games that would be enough for me to just put it away. But I have to say, No Man's Sky has done better. It's kept me interested. I wouldn't say that it distracts me from pain quite as much as Conan Exiles, but it is definitely compelling. So, having said all of that, let's try and do something that we can do. We can probably get pure ferrite if we can build. What we need to build is a portable refiner. What we need to do that is oxygen and metal plating. So metal plating we get from 50 ferrite dust. So we look for rocks or rock-like objects and zot them with our ray gun. I do have to say I like that the multi-tools, which are your weapon and mining and basically your gun thing, are very colorful. A little bit more ferrite. Nope. You notice there that it has an X through the crosshair and it says I need an advanced mining laser. It would mean I'd get pure ferrite straight up, but our regular default mining beam can't do it. So we need to find more accessible ferrite dust. And your mining beam can overheat. Watch the bar in the upper left as I mine. Try and get it to go all the way to the red. Now if I let go and just let it fall a little bit and start again, it starts from the bottom. So you don't have to wait for it to cool all the way down. You just have to let it slip back a little bit. Okay, so now we probably have enough ferrite dust to create a metal plate. We just need to find oxygen. You know, for a couple of reasons. And we should also keep our eye out for sodium. Okay, here's some oxygen-rich plants. In general, the ground plants with the kind of reddish tint, the plants are going to give you oxygen. There's a sentinel, that little robot right there. I'm really not sure what their gameplay purpose is other than to be really obnoxious. If it sees me mining, it will come up and kind of look at me sternly, right? Like, how dare you? If I kept going, I think it would try and engage me in combat. And I could try and engage it in combat. I could probably kill it. The problem is, it would call a lot of friends, and eventually, its friends would win, so it's not worth it right now. We need to recharge our hazard protection with some sodium. And now we have oxygen and our metal plating. I think we can build our refinery. Let's head back towards our ship. And you can take fall damage, so remember your jetpack can be handy for that. Now, for me, I press Z and I build. I think that's probably a default key. Click, and we had enough resources, so we built our refinery here. Now we want to put ferrite dust in here. We're going to need a little bit more. And then we put carbon in here as fuel and get just a little bit more ferrite dust, so that we absolutely have our 50 pure ferrite. And a little bit more carbon, because we need it both as fuel for the refinery and as, well, fuel for our mining beam / orange multi-tool of doom. So let's kick in a little bit more. Oh, well, this is another curious thing. I clicked on this to take the ferrite dust out, but if I want to put ferrite dust in, I have to press X. It's an inconsistent control scheme. And I'm not trying to berate the game. I'm just trying to point it out. If you are playing, you'll notice it's just obtuse. It doesn't really want to play nice. Let's kick off our refiner. And oh, I saw him highlight something yellow on the ground, thought it was sodium. We should grab some more sodium while that's working, and some more ferrite dust. Oh, that's carbon. Okay. Sure, why not? More sodium. And more carbon. Oh, here we go. Ferrite dust. Okay. And more ferrite dust. It's reminding us to patch some metal plating onto our pulse engine. The problem with the tutorial little boxes like that is they'll often overwrite each other, and they can be quite easy to ignore. Let's mine up some more ferrite dust here. And it has a kind of slow start as you try and repair your ship and repair all your own devices. But what No Man's Sky does that I really, really like is it does not show you all of its toys all at once. I've been playing off and on for, well, 2 years and 50 hours since the new patch, and I have to say, in 50 hours I know I have just barely scratched the surface, and that is really impressive. So we've created a metal plate. We can now use that to repair part of our pulse engine. And it might tell us where we can go find a hermetic seal. We needed pure ferrite for our launch thruster, and we have that in here. We'll take our pure ferrite out and we can transfer it to our exosuit or our starship if we're close enough. And we'll come back over here, and now starship, launch thrusters, and we can repair damaged launch thruster part. we can actually repair all of the launch thruster. There is... You can see these blue crystals on the ground, the dihydrogen. That's what we need right now to gather up to create our dihydrogen jelly. I think we need 40 to do that. But that's going off. Oh, I hate those plants. You see these little curly plants? On the plus side, they give oxygen. On the minus side, you don't always notice them until they've thwacked you. Dihydrogen is at 40, which means we can make our dihydrogen jelly. But this stuff is good for oh so many things. In the future, you will be able to have other ships. Dare I say, a fleet. And these crystals might be handy to power that fleet. Now, our toxicity protection is falling there, so I'm just going to get back in the starship so we don't have to use up our sodium. And iteration is functional. Huzzah! Starship critically damaged. Really? Vital ingredients are missing. Unable to synthesize required components. Pulse engine requires hermetic seal. Request assistance. Recommendation. Iteration comparison reveals hermetic seal nearby. Salvage navigation data from distress beacon cache. Okay, sure, we'll get right on that. Right after we fix our launch thruster by applying some dihydrogen jelly. Okay, so now all we need is that hermetic seal, and we could get off this rock. Now, it wants us to activate this distress beacon. Scenario, iteration, number and letters, transferred, deleted. Probable boundary, separation failure, vessel 16 emptied. Sentinel intervention, deliberate transfer unknown. Diagnostic, no connection. Analysis, awaiting fresh iteration. Anomaly containment prepared. Okay. Broadcast, because that's all we can do, right? Traveler, anomaly detected. Position logged, system integrity scan initialized. Anomaly is compliant. That's good. A red light fills my vision. All I see is crimson, and then it fades. The color drains, and the words that seemed so clear seem to slip away. I peer inside the beacon's housing, as well as its distress broadcast unit. It contains a navigational data module. Take navigational data. Okay, well, now we need to build a signal booster. So we need more metal plating. We'll craft that. And carbon nanotubes. And we have carbon, so we can craft that. I think we might need 2. Let's check. No. There we go. So it wants 15 sodium, 1 metal plating, 1 carbon nanotube. We'll slap that down there on the ground. Let's take a look at our refinery here. We're just going to grab that. So to grab this, we hold down the middle mouse button, and we pick up carbon and refinery all at once. Coming over to our signal booster, we use that, which would be the E key by default, I think. I have it mapped to, like, something on my mouse. Anyway, now we input data, 1 navigational data, and survey says, scan distress frequencies. Cross-referencing navigational data. And then a sonargasm. And we see the world. Okay, so there's that symbol. And it is 894 units. I'm not entirely sure what that symbol stands for, but let's just call it units of distance. Let's recharge our toxicity there. And while we're at it, we'll come back to our exosuit here, click on life support, charge it with some oxygen, still have 76 left. So now we'll be able to breathe for the trip as well. Okay. Note, remember to pick up your signal booster. We'll get that before we leave. Okay, everybody remember where we parked. Right there next to the mountain from E.T. Or no, sorry. Close Encounters of the First Kind, right? Was it Devil's something? Grab some oxygen since it's on the way. And any sodium we happen to run across. Ooh, we need carbon too. Let's recharge our mining beam quick. And let's see, the Sentinel is gonna get itself all worked up. Oh. Well, in that case, we're gonna run like a little bunny rabbit back to our boat. So, along with just being generally hostile, many of the planets have a severe version of their weather, which will, oh so quickly, eat through your hazard protection. And boy, I hope I'm going in the right direction. Once the game gets more settled, it will tell you where your starship is, but right now it's being funny. You can see the toxicity in the lower left has gone, oh, quite high, and our toxicity protection is dropping much more quickly. We'll grab our signal booster by not doing that and pressing the middle mouse button instead, because we're only in a storm of toxic death. We have time to make mistakes. Okay. Even though we have our launch thrusters working, we can't actually just take the boat. We have to wait. So, now about those weird snake trees. But, yeah. No Man's Sky, I'm actually quite impressed so far. I can't say that I played very much of it 2 years ago. When I got out of the hospital, I really wasn't quite functional, and I tend to associate things, so if I have a bad experience and play a game, I will forever after associate the game with the bad experience. So I didn't really want to do that to No Man's Sky because it looked like something that I might enjoy. But things move on as they inevitably do, and I never quite got back to No Man's Sky. And it's interesting coming back to it now and not being in my best health either. So if I sound a little, borked now and then, let's just chalk it up to me being a weary traveler, a weary space traveler trying to make the best of the situation and have fun while we're at it. Cliff Racers, no! Is that Morrowind reference for you? Alright. I really want to... There are some spaceships just cruising on by like the dew. Gonna grab some of these. What is this thing? It's just, I can't... Eventually we'll be able to scan it. We can feed it. We don't have cobalt. Okay, let's not lose track of where we're going. And where we came from, but just had to look. Back off, you weird little robot. So the Sentinels. I'm sure someone could explain what their story purpose is. I don't know. I don't necessarily worry about that right now. Like I said, I don't think we're in any danger of getting near any sort of serious spoiler kind of territory. But I do think if you're interested in the game, I can help you with some of the more obtuse choices it makes in gameplay. So normally I would say if you're worried about spoilers, you know, don't worry so much about watching, but if you are interested in the game, it is actually, you know, bang your head against the table obtuse sometimes. So I don't think I will cause you any horrendous spoilers. And I do think actually I might be able to help this time. Yep, we're just still running. Oh, let's talk about something else while we're here. Looking at our multi-tool, you see that it is a C-class multi-tool. Our ship is also a C-class vessel. There are, as far as I know, 4 classes. C is the lowest, B is the next up, A is the next up from there, and then S for, I don't know, superior, I think. Okay. Let's grab whatever this is. Accessing archive, 6 of 7 logs corrupted. Entry 4924A follows. No one making this recording in case leaving behind in the fabricator might be of some use. Visor damage. Can't find ship. Recover supplies. The log finishes and the machine whirs to life, spitting out supplies. I have the hermetic seal I need to repair my ship. Whoever it was that led me here, whoever left this message, perhaps they found themselves in the same situation as I do now. Okay, we should take a look around, see if there's anything else we want. Damaged machinery could be repaired with chromatic metal. Not gonna happen anytime soon, unless we find some by some miracle. Check stock transfer, get units. Oh, money. We got 1,722 credits. Good for us. I think I noticed our oxygen dropping. We'll recharge our life support. And now, unable to locate starship, use analysis visor. Send out a pulse. No analysis visor installed. No Man's Sky. What should I do now? Let's check our multi-tool and install a visor. We would need carbon nanotube. And so we come to our exosuit. Carbon nanotube, we need carbon, which should be easy enough to pick up along the way. As we overheat. Okay. Actually, that's probably enough. So let's make our carbon nanotube. Come over to multi-tool. If you're going to, you know, just let me remap everything. It's really not that hard. Okay. Analysis visor installed. Now if we press F, we can look at the world. We can scan objects like this snake tree and learn that it has oxygen and carbon and has a name. But if we go into our log here and press discoveries and look under flora, we can find it, and we could just upload it with that name, or we could change it to the snake tree. And now it's the snake tree. Okay, so that also gets us some units, and I believe some nanites. Nanites are used to get you some blueprints and actual technology as well, mostly for your exosuit, your multi-tool, and starship. So things you really, really need. Get some more carbon and oxygen because we like those. We can scan this. And we get 500 units for that. We press P. We come over again to flora And oh, let's rename this one as the horned mushroom. And as we come out of this, we get 5 nanite clusters. And we can also scan minerals. But I don't think you can rename them. Anisite, so it's ferrite dust and ammonia. And until you scan them, you don't get that second element. Oh, here's one of those flying guys. Let's scan them. Bovineftus? Oh, that is way too hard. Let's call you X the flying cow. And now we have flying cows. Okay. So you can name sectors and your starship and everything but the minerals, I think. That red exclamation point on the compass up above at the center there is warning us that there is a hostile something. Plant or whatnot. Whatever it is, we will walk away. Ferrite dust. What's this one got with it? Ferrite dust and ammonia. We can try to scan them, but it just says, you know, Sentinel drone. We don't really scan them. It just tells us about them. Oh, there's one of those nasty little plants. All right. Let's see. Boat. 400 units away. We'll try and conserve our sodium and just make a break for... Wow. That's a plant. Okay. We gotta name this one as the Great Horned Mushroom. Okay. And nitrogen. Interesting. That is copper down there, but we would need another attachment for our multi-tool called a terrain manipulator. Interestingly enough, the Sentinels don't like it if you mine minerals or harvest plants, but you can manipulate the terrain all the livelong day. You can strip mine the planet with a Sentinel right on top of you, and he will just kind of stand there cheering you on. That's some mighty fine strip mining you're doing there, traveler. Alright, we don't have much stamina, but we do have our boat quite nearby. Your boat is also your save point. There are others, there are flags you can like touch, you can even build a save point, but your boat, basically, get in, get out, and that should save you. There we go, restore point saved. Okay, now we can fix our damaged pulse engine part. And we have go. Huzzah. All system functional. Seek answers among the stars. Before we do that, I don't think we'll be able to do anything about it. But no, we can't build any kind of base things yet. Bases are kind of handy, as you can teleport to them eventually at will. So to leave the planet, just point up and use your boost. I'm not sure what boost is by default. I remapped it. And we leave planetary orbit. And And these asteroids can be mined, making sure we have space. Incoming message, we answer that by pressing our menu and coming over to Starship Communicator, F to select, comms override, incoming transmission, source 4925B. Please identify yourself. Identify myself. You are not alone. Follow the... The broadcast ends as strangely as it began. The final piece of the signal appears to be a set of planetary coordinates. Input coordinate data. Alright, let's stop going towards the...
Navigational data received.
Okay. And that navigational data would take us right there. Okay, signal source arrive in 2 weeks. That's a little bit longer than I had planned for this video to go. But if we mine some asteroids, we can apply some tritium to our pulse engine. We need uranium or launch fuel for our launch thrusters. You need those launch thrusters because without them you don't leave the planet. But let's point over towards our signal source. We can tag it, press the spacebar and hold, and jump. And I think we will get to the signal source and we will stop our episode there and basically just hop out of the boat and save unless it forces us to do something else, as I'm getting a bit tired. But this is our first look at No Man's Sky. And trust me when I say it is oh so much bigger than it may seem at the moment. Like, I was really quite astonished, and again, as I say, I think I've only begun to scratch the surface. And I think that is really cool. There does appear to be quite a bit to explore. It's a much more chill experience for a survival game. You will also find yourself able to be in ship-to-ship combat in space. I tried to avoid it for a long time since I wasn't feeling very well, and I didn't want to make myself feel worse, but actually it's quite easy even with just the mouse and keyboard, so don't concern yourself too much with the space combat. If you play any sort of games, you're probably going to be just fine with it, as long as you're on normal. If you're not on normal, I don't know what's going to happen. So 16 seconds to signal source. I say again, 16 seconds to signal source. Okay, and start to slow down. And then to land, we just press E. And hop out of the boat. Restore point saved. Find ourselves on a new planet. I don't really like the whole letterboxing thing that takes control away. I can move, but I can't use or do anything. It does it whenever you get an achievement, what they call a milestone, as well. But yeah, No Man's Sky, first look. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'm sure we will probably go a few more episodes. Like I said, I'm going to try and keep things to one thing at a time, but we may bounce from one thing to another thing. In other words, I'm not going to try and run several things at the same time. It makes sense in my head. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you found the video entertaining and maybe even just a little informative. I would like to invite you to subscribe. Thank you kindly if you are already subscribed. I would also like to invite you to like and share if you so desire. And hey, if you're feeling crazy, go ahead and hit that notification bell. Most of all, though, I would like to ask you to please, please, take care.